Matt, it's Paul. Call me when you get this. There's no money in the account, and there are too many bills to pay. There are just too many expenses, and there's a weird...
Yeah. Do you want to film at my place that I bought?
I can't afford electricity anymore because the whole office... Wait, you bought a place?
Come on, let's go to my place. Starwhite. Here we are. See? Wasn't that easy?
No, it wasn't. I just walked 80 blocks and a man spat in my pocket.
Keep it professional.
Do you remember back in the ancient history of Shut Up and Sit Down when we reviewed a classic sort of card game, board game, drafting game called Seven Wonders, a game of empire building and statues and things like that?
Yeah.
I do.
I remember. It was the classical age of Shut Up and Sit Down, where we thought speaking really quickly was the same thing as being interesting, and if we could just talk fast enough, we would surely become rich. But I don't... Yeah, I don't care.
So...
about Seven Wonders.
The cruel and abrasive sands of time have sort of worn away the sheen.
That's what I was trying to say.
I still quite like it. How do you feel?
Well, I feel like I've got two expansions in my house, Seven Wonders Cities and Seven Wonders Babel, and we've never reviewed them because...
You don't.
I don't care.
But guess what's happened?
What?
Seven Wonders Duel has come along, which is a new 2-player version of Seven Wonders, which is sort of...
Seven Wonders, the 7-player game.
Yeah, just 2 players now.
Great!
And you can duel with each other.
History lesson. Seven Wonders was a game in which each player received 7 cards, selected one of these beautiful buildings to build, and then pass everything on to the left or right. Thing is, you kinda didn't care what your friends were doing. Not so in Seven Wonders Duel. The first and most important thing is you care deeply what's happening in your opponent's city. All the other mechanics in Seven Wonders mostly have been preserved for future generations.
Here's the setup. You start with this ziggurat of cards laid out in front of you, and players take turns to snatch them away and start to build the foundations, the building blocks of their empire. Now, some of these cards are face up, you know what they are. Some of them are face down, you don't know what they are, but you can only grab at them or reveal them when all the cards in front of them or sort of covering them have been taken away. So I can now see what this is. This is a scriptorium. Well, I might need that. You see, what I'm also doing here is forming the foundations of the empire. All of these cards at the moment are really, really cheap, and they'll actually go towards other cards later on. Just, you know, cheap. Look, stone pit, cheap and cheerful. Cheap and cheerful, like me.
As in regular Seven Wonders, a vitally important thing are resources. Wood is good, it's a good thing to have, as is stone or clay or advanced materials, and you'll need them to build future buildings, but we get into one of the key differences here, because ordinarily you have to pay money for resources you don't have. In Seven Wonders Duel, you have to pay more money for every one of that resource your opponent has as they develop a monopoly, so your opponent getting wood is bad news for everyone.
I wanted cheap and cheerful, and that's nasty and nasty. And I'll tell you what else is nasty, is the army is nasty. Military stuff is nasty. As you're grabbing cards, some of the cards that you'll be grabbing will be military buildings. Now, you'll remember these from Seven Wonders because they allowed you to beat up the players who were sat next to you for a smattering of victory points. It's different in Duel. In Duel, there's nobody next to you, there's just your opponent dead opposite, and this nudges a completely unsubtle token a number of spaces towards them. Nudge it far enough and you start to take their money away as well as earning victory points. Nudge it even further, nudge it into their house and up their stairs and into their bedroom and right into where they're sleeping or at least trying to watch Netflix, and you've just won. You've won the game of Seven Wonders. You've immediately won, right, all the wonders. You're the wonder. You've wondered them senseless.
F me! Another thing that's been changed are these green science cards. In the original Seven Wonders, you collected loads of them, and that just added to an increasingly complicated victory point related equation for some reason. Here, no. It's been replaced by something much sexier. Seven Wonders Duel actually reflects the 7 schools of science. Namely, wheels, triangles, desk toys, sex toys, lawn ornaments, star signs, and blogging. And if you ever get 6 of these 7, you just win the game.
6 sex toys.
No, 6 different things. One sex toy. But that's not all. If you collect 2 of the same scientific logo in your city, you can collect one of these 7 game-changing powers. Science powers, different every game, drawn from a big stack, and these are great, but the problem that they then change your strategy in the future, and your opponent can kind of hem you in or prevent you from doing that thing, and hopefully already you can see the main problem here, which is the same problem in Seven Wonders, which is you want stuff and you don't want your opponent to have stuff and you don't know which of the stuff they want. Seven Wonders Duel, they probably should have called it Seven Wonders I Want All the Things, Stop Taking the Things.
So how about that, huh? Your games won't always end after just turns and turns of empire building. They just might suddenly end early in military ruin or science ruin or ruin can come, and that's nasty. That's also nasty.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
If that doesn't happen and you end your first stage and you chip away at the blocks of the ziggurat till they're all gone, you get to deal out another one, except, do you know what?
What?
It's different shapes!
What? I feel underwhelmed.
This time, all the cards that you're snatching have more prerequisites, and hopefully you've built up an appropriate tableau of raw materials to enable you to just grab these things without having to fork out lots of extra cash to be able to afford them. However, if you're really smart, if you're really, really clever, you've also been snatching the cards that allow you to just automatically build other stuff later on, like this theatre has that face symbol in the corner because that means later the theatre allows you to automatically build a statue. You just can automatically. Why?
Why?
Why? Because civilization.
Yes!
Yeah! And if you have planned things out well, if you have looked at this cascade of cards in front of you, then you're anticipating not only the card that you'll grab next, but the card that you or your opponent might grab in a turn or two's time. You're thinking about the resources that you have now that you need for that, or maybe what they really need to grab, and you're going to snatch that before them, but not right now, just in a moment before they get it. And that's key to Seven Wonders Duel, is this anticipating what you're going to do next and how you're going to do it. And then after you've whittled down this exciting ziggurat, the next one is just completely different shape. Look at that. It's got choke points on Quins. It's got choke points.
No, it does.
You go in and you come out, and then you go in the other side for one last job, like Danny Glover, one last job. Like the ziggurat pulls you back in. You thought you'd pull out, it pulls you back like Al Pacino. Arrgh.
I think I'm realising that this ziggurat thing is like the most interesting thing about Seven Wonders Duel. But also, it's not that interesting.
It's a bit interesting.
It's literally quite interesting.
You know what else is interesting? Wonders! You draft 4 of these at the start of the game from a whole deck of them. Lay them out in front of you so everyone knows what you might be aiming for. Everyone, the other player, you both know what you might be aiming for. And then start building them. How do you build them? Well, they all have prerequisites. You can grab one of the cards from the centre, and instead of actually adding it to your tableau, you can slip it subtly under your wonder and then gain the benefits of that wonder. And those benefits could be victory points, they could be military forces, they could be more raw materials, they could be any combination of those.
But Paul, if we have 4 each, that's 8 wonders.
No, it's not. You can only have 7, so the race is on to build 7. So you can build most of them, but the 8th one can't be built because there's only room in the world for 7 wonders.
They get like a strongly worded letter saying you can't build this.
So you do 7, and then you can't do the 8th because you're in a pickle. Quinns, are you okay? You seem kind of distracted.
Yeah. Look, let me tell you about something that's been fingering my pickle recently. With Seven Wonders.
What?
You know, like.
I don't think that's a real phrase.
Yeah, like someone's touching your feud, they're fingering your pickle. So what we've got here is a game that is arguably better than Seven Wonders.
I don't know where you got that from.
The military and scientific victories are exciting, but
That's not real.
they don't quite happen in practice. You see your friend going for a military victory and pushing it towards you, and then you just push it back and you have to make some suboptimal plays, which means this game still ends with this sorrow pad of paper where everyone tots up what they've got, and then you go, I've won. Did you win? No, I won. Okay. And then you don't necessarily know why it happened. It's like ending a third date with someone you really like with like a pad of paper and some maths. And yes, this is a better game than Seven Wonders, probably. It's more solid than a solid game of Seven Wonders. It's exciting, it's better, but it also loses the wonderful communal experience of Seven Wonders, you know, where 7 people can play and you're passing cards, and it has a warmth that this game does not have, and it still has the same problem. The one thing I would have wanted them to fix with a 2-player Seven Wonders game, which is that you have this first age, which is really exciting, and then a second age, which is even more exciting because everything's doubled and the requirements are doubled, and then a third age, which is, well, you don't have an awful lot of decisions in the third age because everything you built in front of you kind of steers your decision-making process.
The ziggurat, you can sort of come in and go out. Pulled back Al Pacino.
Like Al Pacino, yeah, no. I want sex! On a third date. Was that not? On the third date, in the third age.
Not in
I want sex.
Seven Wonders Duel.
Yeah.
Because I've looked in the cards, I've looked, there's no sex card. There's baths.
Yeah, it's pretty sexy actually.
I looked up the pickle thing.
Yeah. And?
So here's the thing, I had a fine time playing Seven Wonders. It's cute, it's a pretty game, I really like how it looks, and it's actually a lot of fun to gradually assemble your civilization piece by piece, card by card, pulling these things in and then adding them to your tableau and saying, look, I've got a pharmacy, or an apothecary.
Every part of it is nice, from the chunky coins to building a city to finishing a wonder to, you know, pushing this towards your opponent and making them lose money. It's all nice.
Not like a nice auntie.
Yeah.
But also like a nice auntie, I wasn't particularly compelled. Never been compelled by my this is going on. Anyway, you know, the pulling these ziggurats apart, I didn't have amazing battle plans for how to play. I didn't...
Stay on target!
I didn't come up with amazing strategies, and it was all perfectly sort of agreeable, but I didn't get excited about any particular play I made or anything I did.
See, I mean, a nice thing about the original Seven Wonders is because it has cards for up to 7 players, you don't see anything. You have one wonder and you build some cards, and then you know the next time you play you'll build something different. Whereas in this, you see exactly 50% of your cards, and then your opponent builds the other 50% of the cards. This game is like toast made at a really nice hotel. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's kind of tasty, but it's toast.
And if I played this again or had toast again, I just know that I would have
toast
again, and this experience would be similar, and that's okay, but it's not inspiring.
It's kind of like visiting Stonehenge.
Right, it's not inspiring like an inspiring museum trip of looking at amazing historic stuff. It's
like visiting Stonehenge.
Driving past Stonehenge.
Yes, you're in a car.
Listening to you go, oh, that's good, and you put on Radio 2. That's Terry Wogan, and you go, that's fine.
Well, this is America. They don't have Radio 2 here.
They don't have Terry Wogan? They have Radio 1?
Paul, it's America. They don't have radio.
I don't know where I am. Reference page just said America, and I got on a plane, and I could be any...
Paul, I don't think we're in the United States.
Why are you looking at that bottle?
Paul, this is tequila. We're in Mexico!
Oh, that explains everything I've seen.
Oh man, do you want to go find some real life cigarettes?
We can do that.